Today's Sunday school class is from Psalm 23. It is by far one of my favorite entire Psalms, and it's because it is so full and rich. And I remember first knowing of its significance when a illustration was shared with me about a great orator who was attending a banquet, and they were throwing the banquet in his honor because he had received some prestigious award. And the people asked him to quote Psalm 23. So he stood and he gave a great rendition of it using a powerful, rich voice. And the people were just really moved. And when he finished, he applauded. And then someone mentioned, "Hey, Pastor, why don't you quote Psalm 23 too?" And basically, after a long prodding, because he was a humble man, he agreed to also quote Psalm 23. And this elderly, kind of broken pastor stood in the banquet hall, and when he quoted Psalm 23, at the end of it, nobody applauded. Nobody clapped. They just hung their head in tears, and they were moved by the genuineness. Because one man had all the words right. One man could pronounce everything perfect. And everyone admired him for it. But the other man, he said, "The Lord is my shepherd." He may not have said it so eloquently, but he knew the shepherd. And when it was finished, people knew the difference. So we often quote Psalm 23, and quite frankly, the number one place that I hear it is at funerals. And I guess that's because it does bring a great sense of healing and a great sense of confidence, knowing that even though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, God will be with us. What I would like to do this morning is I would like to just take that psalm and examine it through a different lens instead of focusing on each individual part. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Take instead and look into that psalm, and we will see that in each one of those little sections, the little phrases, there is contained there one of the names of God. And so in the passage, "The Lord is my shepherd," we see that it begins with Jehovah Jireh. Pardon me, I'm at the church, and if I sit here 30 minutes, the lights go out. I have to move in order to keep the lights on, which is kind of funny in a Baptist church when you're preaching. It's kind of interesting that we haven't had the lights go out during the service. But where was I? Oh, yeah. The Lord is my shepherd, Jehovah Jireh. Now, before we go any further, and don't put down in the comment section, that's not how you pronounce that his name. I am not a Hebrew scholar. I studied Hebrew hard so that I could pass the course in my Hebrew for my master's course in seminary. And literally, whenever I walked out the door, I was like, "Yes, I'm done with Hebrew." So I wish I had kept up with it. That would have been awesome, because I spent a year trying to learn it. But I really learned it to pass the test, and I can't pronounce these words right. So please, it will do you no good to tell me I'm pronouncing them wrong. I'm just going to tell you how an old boy from Tennessee pronounces these Hebrew words, okay? So the Lord is my shepherd. And that literally means, the word there is Jehovah Jireh. And it literally means my protector. The Lord is the one who watches over me, protects me, watches me, and that's what a shepherd actually is. That's what the main job of a shepherd is. Little David, before he became king, he was a shepherd. Being a shepherd is the training ground for being a king, because you're there to take care of your flock, there to take care of your people. And the word itself means I'm going to protect those that are mine. I absolutely love this. Had a really weird dream last night. Very weird dream. And in this dream, my son was dating a young lady. Her name's Amanda. He ended up marrying her. But in the dream, someone insulted Amanda. And so my son got up. He walked over and he said, "I'm sorry, but you have insulted my future wife, and now you have to deal with me." And in the dream, I squeezed my wife's hand and I said, "That's my boy." Oh my goodness. Oh, the rest of the dream, Jonathan beat up like 10 people. I mean, 10 full-grown men. Just beat them, and it was amazing to watch him. The only bad part about the dream is there were 15 people, so it ended up not so well for Jonathan. But he did beat up 10, and I was proud of him because he was the shepherd. He was the protector. He was an example of what it means to be someone that'll do whatever it takes and lay his life on the line. And King David, when he was a shepherd, he fought not lions, tigers, and bears, but he fought bears, and with sticks and with a slingshot to ward off the predators away from his flock, away from, if you will, his people. And so we begin the greatest psalm, Psalm 23, by saying, "The Lord is my shepherd, my protector, Jehovah Jireh." And guys, I don't know about you. Ladies, I don't know about you. But I can rest at night. I can rest in the middle of adversity, knowing that Jesus is going to protect his family. Psalm 23 says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Jehovah Jireh. That's literally what that is. Jehovah Jireh. It means my provider. God is my provider. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He gives me, he supplies all my wants. Wow. You know, wants are bigger than needs. Okay? Today's my wife's birthday. I asked her, what does she need? And she sat for a while and looked, and she said, "I absolutely need anything. I absolutely have no needs. I don't need anything. I don't need anything." And I said, "All righty, what do you want?" She said, "Now that's a different story." Yes, that's a different story. Jehovah Jireh, my provider. Not only does he supply my needs, but he takes care of my wants. I can't even imagine what it would be like to live in this world at this time without having Jesus Christ as your provider. Trying to live a life in which you try to get everything for yourself, trying to live a life where you try to be your own provider. And I know there's an amazing work ethic. I'm not saying you shouldn't pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. That's not what he is saying either. He's saying that he supplies our wants. And now understand this. Once he is your shepherd, your wants will change. Dr. Adrian Rogers used to say, I don't sin all that I want to anymore. I sin more than I want to because God changed my want to. And when you meet Jesus Christ, he is everything that you want. I shall not want, because here's why. Because he's there. He is everything. And people without Christ in their lives, they try to do everything they can to fulfill that want. King Solomon put it this way. He tried money, he tried health, he tried sex, he tried power, prestige, reputation, appetite. He tried every single avenue that people to this day are still trying. And he wrote a book called Ecclesiastes, and in that book he's like, I have a void. I think it's Ecclesiastes 3, verses 9, 10, 11 says, I have a void, an emptiness in my heart, a hole that I keep trying to fill, and no matter what I pour into that hole, I still can't fill that hole. And he's no different than the rest of us. As a matter of fact, he is a commentary on who we are, and a commentary on our life. People are trying so hard to fill every need that they have and every want that they have, and they're trying to do it themselves. And Jesus says, if he's your shepherd, he will be all you want. Jehovah Jireh. You shall not want anything else. He's everything. One little boy says, the Lord is my shepherd. That's all I want. And I mean, that little boy nailed it. The Lord is my shepherd. That's all I want. That is a great, I know that's probably not a good Hebrew interpretation, and my professor, God bless Dr. Miller, he put up with a lot with me, but that may not be the exact translation, but that is the exact meaning of this. If Jesus is your shepherd, he's all you want. Oh my goodness. Isn't that amazing? And it's right there. That's how it begins. Now the rest of the psalm is going to build on those two thoughts. Jehovah Rom, the Lord is my shepherd, and Jehovah Jireh, he's all I want. I tell you what, why don't we come back next week and unpack the rest of it, and see that he makes me to lie down in green pastures. And I like that part. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. Wait until you understand the 4 requirements of what it takes for a sheep to be willing to lie down. And we'll talk about that next week at 9 o'clock, right here, same bat time, same bat channel.